Right to McDougal's.
I didn't know how long it would be here tonight, so
I know, he asked me if I,
should we repeat it?
bring popcorn next time.
Okay, I'd like to call this November 14th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting to order. We ask if you have any cell phones or any other devices, please put them on silence and not to disrupt the meeting. Anyone wishing to address the board, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. The first item on the agenda is approval of minutes of October 10th.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approval of minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved. Director Sheeline.
Mr. President, I do have a couple of things to note before we get into the actual agenda. We do have a couple of continuances tonight. Case P19-823, which is 220 Bell Avenue, and P20-823, which is 324 East Bell Avenue. Both of those development claims have been continued until the next meeting. We will hear the rezonings for both of those cases tonight, but the development plans will not be heard. And also, before I forget, at the last meeting, if you all remember, we passed 3 different TIFs, and we forgot to have anyone from the planning commission sign those. So I need 5 board members to please hang around after the meeting tonight so we can get a majority of the signatures on those 3 TIFs. So if 5 of you would do that, I would appreciate it. So with that being said, the first case tonight, Mr. President, is P27-Z23. Petition of Trump also requesting the Coca-Cola City Planning Commission petition to recommend to common council for a change in zone classification from agricultural residential to C1. This is property at 2435 West Jefferson Street, and the adjoining lot to the south.
Move for approval.
Second. If someone here to represent this case, please step forward.
Trent Walter, Indiana, Car Wash Holdings, 905 Hickory Lane, Yanceville, Ohio. Obviously, we're trying to get this lot rezoned to commercial. And I heard there's some questions potentially about what we're looking to do with this, so I'm going to shed a little bit of light on that if you guys want to take it.
Absolutely.
So we're looking to convert this lot to an express wash. There's several different washes out there. There's no express wash on the northwest side of town. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Fruit Car Wash or Take 5. So it's a very similar model to that. There are other car washes in the area, but they're not the same model as ours. There's a difference between an express wash and a touchless wash. So we're trying to bring something new to the area. With that being said, we'll create 8 to 12 new jobs. Pay will range from $70,000 for a manager down to $13 an hour for a starting position. Obviously, we'll generate tax revenue, and again, it's a new service to the community. We'll have free vacuums as well as a subscription agreement for members. So you pay a monthly fee, you wash as many times as you like. So a little different than things that are being currently offered in the area. And then if anyone has any questions about the model.
Any questions from the board? First, like we have staff report.
Staff report for case P27-Z23. Cartwright Ellison requested change the zone classification for the property listed above. This lot will be used as a tunnel car wash. This lot is currently not subdivided. According to the City of Copeland zoning ordinance, the small to medium scale general commercial zoning district is compatible with all neighboring properties listed below, except for the AR-based zone. However, there are currently AR-based zones that border this location. Adjoining properties zoned are as follows: to the north, C2; to the south, agricultural residential and C2; to the east, C2; and to the west, agricultural residential. According to City of Copeland Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, this area of West Jefferson Street is located in an area proposed for medium density residential. The medium density residential area is designated for single family housing at various sites between 3 to 6 units per acre. Typical medium density housing would be single-family detached duplexes, triplexes, condominiums, townhomes, and cluster housing. This area is not located within any overlay district. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the city of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Allow for a mix of commercial, office, and industrial land uses to provide a diversified tax base. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. Relevant land use objectives are to continue to develop a transportation network that serves and complements the land uses and growth management goals of the city. According to the transportation map, this area of West Jefferson Street is defined as a minor arterial. This is a street that collects and distributes traffic to and from collector and primary arterial streets. Traffic count in this area of West Jefferson Street is 2,709 cars per day. The staff desires the board forward with favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council based on the information provided by the commission.
Any questions from the board? Now we have staff report. Any questions from the audience on this case? Please come forward.
So good evening. Thanks for having me here again to speak. Josh Klinghagen, 755 820 West Kokomo. After reviewing the application from Indiana Car Wash Holdings and Mr. Cartwright, we think there's some inaccuracies in here. There's been no real commercial development up there on the northwest side, especially in the area that they outlined between Sycamore and Jefferson. We had the Solidarity moved out of the mini mall into their own, and then we just reclassified a key bank to the gas station. So, as stated in the staff report, in the zoning of small, medium, general, commercial zoning district isn't compatible with residential, or agricultural residential, and there's 2 lots on there. So that's in your guys' staff report. It says it's not compatible to rezone that commercial, general commercial. Also like to note that the staff report also calls out what I mentioned in the last meeting, that the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan future land map does not call for commercial development west of Jefferson Street. And with that too, we haven't seen any real residential growth in the northwest side. I know there's some stuff in the plans to come up there, but I think with the housing market or the interest rates, inflation, whatever, I think some of those have been put on hold. So again, we just haven't seen any rooftops go up there to say that we need more commercial. So with that said, I think it still falls under the spot zoning classification. Their answer to question 2 on their application as well, this rezoning does not benefit the community. We've got all the services we need right there. We've got 2 car washes. We also have a closed down car wash right there, hidden in the trees back there on Sycamore. So this doesn't save time, this doesn't save commute. You got McCord's out there, you got My Wash there. Different model, a little bit different model, but not a different model than McCord's. McCord's offers all the subscriptions and everything. So that's there. I mean, we've got restaurants and car washes, gas stations, storage facilities, we've got everything, you know. And as you mentioned, it's gonna bring jobs to the area, things like that. Pains me to say it in a public forum like this, but there's plenty of jobs right up in that area. As a matter of fact, our favorite place to go with my family in the summer is up to Sweet Retreat. Twice this summer, we couldn't go there because they were closed, they didn't have staff. So, you know, I don't see where it adds to value. Revitalization underutilized areas for a business that does not add value to the surrounding area, and more than likely add more hazards than benefits. With all the traffic coming in and out, you know, express washes can process upwards of 100 cars an hour, and we know that intersection's already congested, especially if you've been there when Wallace is letting out of school. Now we're gonna have a gas station. We don't know what the impact of the gas station's gonna be. So, and then question 3, and this is where our biggest problem is with the application, is that this will in fact negatively impact surrounding property values. There's already 2 car washes there and a house that'll be adjacent to it. There's noise, you gotta have the traffic, the noise, the trash, all that stuff that comes with the car wash. I mean, I'm sure these guys are well aware of that. You know, and car washes, as I'm sure some of you guys know, they're pretty much single-use buildings. I mean, look at the one on Apperson, look at the one right there on Sycamore. They've sat vacant for years now. Hard to convert, whatever. You know, where this Indiana Car Wash Holdings, where their LLC is based out of, and it says Cleveland, Ohio online, they're facing all kinds of moratoriums. They're not even allowed to build car washes in like half of Ohio, so they're reaching out, they're trying to find the weakness in our zoning and things like that. So, in closing, I believe this should be considered spot zoning. Further language on the application, quote, "That is the conferring of special rights or benefits on a relatively small tract without commensurate benefits to the community. The staff notes don't indicate any real benefits. Mr. Cartwright and Indiana Car Wash Holdings have not proven any real tangible benefit to the community. It's not gonna shorten up commute times. It's not gonna, it's not a service that's missing. So we ask that you guys vote against this request. Thank you."
Any questions from the board?
I do have a couple of comments. Number one, I just want everybody to understand that this is more for the board than it is for the audience. But the comprehensive plan is a guide. That's what the comprehensive plan is. So with that being said, we certainly look at that and every zoning that we do. But for this to be considered spot zoning, I disagree with that completely. We have commercial zoning across the street, we have it right next door. So if you look at the definition of spot zoning, this is definitely not spot zoning. The other thing that I would caution the board is that this board's goal when it comes to rezoning is not to, we don't dictate whether it's a car wash or a gas station or a restaurant. What we vote on is, does that zoning fit in that area? That's what you're voting on tonight, not whether it's a car wash. It should not matter to this board what's going in. Our country was built on free enterprise. Everybody has the right to try to put a business in. All this board needs to decide is does it fit in the area? If it doesn't, then it's your job to vote against it. But if it does, it's your job to vote for it. So that's all I wanted to caution everybody. I know there's been lots of talk about this. I just wanted to caution everybody what we're voting on tonight.
Anyone else in the audience? Yes. We give her first, sir, and I'll give you. Please come to the microphone.
My name is Sarah Graber, 755 North, 820 West, Kokomo, Indiana. I'm here with Josh's Washes. I'm speaking in the hopes tonight that this is an impartial board. And I will speak to what Mr. Sheeline said. We heard you at the last meeting. We're not voting on whether or not this is going to be a car wash. So I'm going to set that conversation aside. But I will support that, in my opinion, it does sound like spot zoning because there has been no commercial development in that area between West Jefferson and West Sycamore since actually 2008. In 2020, that Solidarity was built, but it was already located in the strip mall right behind there, so it was not newly established. I actually have a list of when every one of those buildings was built. I apologize, I wasn't able to make copies. I got off work at 4. So none of those buildings have been built post the development of the city plan. Also, as far as their point to number 2, the proposed business is not going to increase any level of convenience or necessity to residents. We have everything on our end of town. We have gas stations, we have grocery stores, we have pet supply stores, we have a veterinarian clinic, we have Goodwill, we have drugstores, we have a Dollar Tree or a Dollar General, which I know everybody does have, restaurants, car wash, ice cream parlors. We have every single business that you can imagine on any end of our town over here on that northwest corner. In fact, there's the car wash not too far away. At last month's meeting, they reported to us that they would bring 6 jobs to the area. Today it sounds like 8 to 12. Well, we have a huge shortage of employees on the northwest end of town, as Josh mentioned. Our ice cream shop was not even able to open over the summertime, their busiest time of the year, because they didn't have enough staff to staff the restaurant. Every single restaurant in that end of town, which is a similar job to working at a car wash, is hiring, and they have now hiring signs in their windows. Last month, 2 factory rezoning requests were approved. This has the possibility of bringing hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs into our area. What are we gonna do with all these people? Where are these people going to live? Because right now what we're doing is rezoning and we're adding commercial businesses, but we're not adding any residential on the northwest end of town. And these factories are going to add a lot of jobs, and they're all gonna be on the north end of town. So I'm wondering if it makes any kind of sense to flip residential properties into commercial when people don't have anywhere to live. In fact, a coworker of mine moved to the northwest end of Kokomo in August. She came from Kentucky and she sent me an email, and I have a copy of it here. Again, I apologize for not making copies. And I'll quote a line from her email after I sent her some housing ideas. She said, quote, "This is super helpful, thank you. I found out that due to the power plant that is coming to Kokomo, apartments with openings are very few and very limited. So what is the sense in taking away much needed housing to make room for another commercial business that will likely go without employees or constantly struggling to provide their own services because they can't hire people because we don't have enough people to work all the jobs that we have in our area?" I would also like to speak to the traffic consideration that they mentioned. I have a photo here, and I know this isn't about a car wash. It's a picture of the Diamond Car Wash. It's located on Sycamore, right behind the Rallies on Sycamore. It's dilapidated, it's old, it's out of business. I don't know how appealing that looks to you. It doesn't look super appealing to me. But if we're talking about the aesthetic compatibility to our neighborhood, it doesn't look very good. And there's a great possibility that you'll have another one on West Jefferson that looks the same way, that everybody's gonna have to drive and see up and downtown. You can't see that one because it's set back, but there's one set forward that may look like that in the near future. It doesn't only talk about, it brings up the question of property values in the application. That's the only reason I'm talking about it, not because it's a car wash. Because it asks the question, will this have an adverse effect on any of the property values? And the answer to that is yes, even though they said no. The answer is yes. It's gonna adversely affect our property as well as the residential property that butts right up against it, because car washes are full of trash, they're full of people, they're full of traffic. The intersection near there gets very busy and congested twice a day, 5 days a week during the drop-off and dismissal times as well as elementary school. The gas station has a good chance of adding traffic input and output. And although we can't predict how much, we can say that adding another commercial property to this high traffic area could further cause congestion and risk safety of pedestrians and drivers, especially if that business is one that could have its own heavy traffic flow. A business that could take 500 or 50 to 100 cars in and out of that intersection per hour. So it actually would be very dangerous to the traffic in that area.
Any comments from the board? Thank you for your comments, and we'll go to this next gentleman.
My name's Cartwright Ellis, 746 Willow Ridge Drive, Kokomo, Indiana. And Mr. Klinghagen referred to the fact that the property next door might be adversely affected. I have letters signed by the property owner next door. His name is Paul Lewis. Paul is sitting in the back, just wave to you. I have copies of these letters if you would like to see them. But he endorses the above referenced case and the rezoning. Anybody want it? You would? Okay. Yeah, so we can just pass them down.
There we go, yeah.
Was also brought up the fact that the old self-service car wash behind Rallies is in dilapidated shape. That thing is at least 30 years old, if not 40 years old. It's been out of business for a good 15 years. And that was a self-serve, the wand style where you get out of your, coins in the machine, get out of your car, spray the car down. And that is nothing in the order of what is proposed to go into the property at 2435 West Jefferson. Right now, the real estate taxes payable on 2435 West Jefferson are $3,500 a year, give or take. The closest comparable I could come up with for taxes for a car wash like we're talking about is the Crew Car Wash on Hoffer and US 31. They pay in excess of $30,000 a year. And that is $19,000 in real estate taxes and about $11,000 in personal property taxes. It was brought up the fact that we really don't have any new development on the northwest side. And I think that's in error because the credit union did move from an existing shopping center right behind it, but they also made a substantial investment in purchasing the corner, southeast corner of Jefferson and Dixon, and putting up a multi-million-dollar building. The only real competition for Kokomo in the car wash business is Crew. They operate, I'm sure that all of you have been through there sometime, but it's also a tunnel-style car wash. They are able to wash a lot of cars. Instead of waiting for the next car to wash in a single wash facility, they go through there very quickly. So, anybody have any questions for me?
Any questions from the board? Any other comments from the audience?
Attorney Kathy Knoll, I'm here on behalf of Indiana Car Wash Holdings. I apologize for my voice, I lost it last week. I just want to point out a couple of quick things to the board. This is obviously a rezoning issue, like Mr. Sheeline said. It's not a business competition issue. It's what's good for the city of Kokomo. This rezoning is in compliance with the Howard County Comprehensive Plan. It promotes the quality of life for the Kokomo citizens. It promotes economic stability and that we will be getting 8 to 12 jobs, as Mr. Cartwright said, that we would also be having an increased tax base of close to $30,000, which would benefit the community. The land use goals are in compliance with the comprehensive plan as well. It provides for community growth. It's suitable use with the land. It's contiguous with existing properties that are commercial as well, which is a requirement of the comprehensive plan. On at least 2 sides of this property, these are businesses and not residential. So the contingency is existing. It's definitely not spot zoning due to that fact. It encourages revitalization of the Kokomo area. It benefits the citizens through economic growth. And as stated, this is a question of rezoning for the board. It's not a question of competition or what business may compete with another. So we'd request your approval tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? Any questions from the board before I call for a vote? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of rezoning case P27Z23, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. It now goes to the city council and will be presented there by Councilman Green. Director Sheehan.
This case tonight, Mr. President, is case P28Z23, petition of Ferris Center LLC, requesting Kokomo City Plan Commission petition and recommending the common council change the zone classification from R3 density residential into general multifamily residential. This is for property, this is 22.1 acres more or less located at the adjoining lot south of 1679 East Parks Road. And just so no one's confused, the new address that was issued for that property is 1514 East Morgan Street.
Move for approval.
Second.
Someone here to represent this case, please come forward.
Good evening, Mr. President and the board members. My name is Rocky Singh. I'm a resident of 11585 Freeport Drive in Carmel, Indiana. We were requesting this zoning change from what's currently zoned as medium-density housing to more of a general multifamily residential. We know there's a lot of industrial development coming up on that side, and like we heard, there's not enough housing. So we are wanting to make sure we can provide adequate, high-quality housing for the residents of the city and the state. The rezoning is to allow for some future townhouses in this area on the west side of the lot. There will be some, it will meet all the requirements of subdivision and ordinances, especially regarding setbacks and parking, so we will meet all those requirements. And we are not asking for more than a minimum change necessary for the development to be possible.
Any questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Sheehan.
Staff report for case P28Z23. First Center LLC is requesting change in zone classification for the parcel shown below. This area will be utilized as a location for future planned development. In order for this lot to be deemed to build a lot, the parcel must be subdivided. Adjoining properties zonings are as follows: to the north, HI, high intensity industrial heavy manufacturing; to the south, C1, small medium scale general commercial and IS institutional; and R3, medium density single family residential. To the east is agricultural and rural residential, and R1, very low density residential. And to the west is IS institutional use and R3, medium density single family residential. According to City Kokomo zoning ordinance, the O2 zoning district is compatible with all the zonings for this area except for the HI-based zoning. However, there are existing neighboring parcels which are zoned as HI. Pardon me. According to the City Kokomo comprehensive plan future land use map, this area of East Morgan Street is located in an area of medium density residential, which is shown below in the circle dark yellow shaded area that you all have on your map. Medium density residential is an area designated for single family housing of various types between 3 to 6 dwelling units per acre. Typical medium density housing would be single family detached duplexes, biplexes, condominiums, townhomes, and cluster housing. This area is not located within an overlay district. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development, to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the city of Kokomo, while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Rural land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of East Morgan Street is defined as a minor arterial. A minor arterial is a street that collects and distributes traffic to and from collector and primary arterial streets. The traffic count for this area of East Morgan Street is 5,907 cars per day. Just so everyone knows, that traffic count was taken, the nearest point located on Morgan Street, 100 west of US 31. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo County Council based on the information presented on the petition.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report. Any questions from the audience?
My name is Alicia Whitaker. My address is 1510 East Morgan Street. I'm right next door to where all this is happening. So my understanding is this is going to be for townhomes. Is it, I get confused on what is actually
if it's gonna be commercial, restaurants, grocery stores, what's going in there, or is it just the apartments, the townhouses, homes?
My understanding is it's just townhomes, is that correct?
So at this point, they're requesting a drawing from medium density to develop multifamily. We cannot use multifamily. Our first goal is to provide immediate housing, which is a goal for the city. There is a housing shortage, we want to provide some immediate high density housing. So that's the specification.
Okay.
Medium density to
I'm sorry, I don't want to mislead anybody. I know in the staff report, we also talked about this might at some point in time become a PUD, a planned unit development. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands what could possibly happen there as well. I don't want to mislead anybody.
It's a large parcel. It's going to create a lot of space which can be, may have some complementary use. So if there are lots of people around, we may need to add some facilities where people can not only live, but also have ways to have recreational use. Again, at this point, yes, Mr. President, you're absolutely right. Again, at this point, we just want to make sure that we're able to put a multi-family use.
Just my point, one lady, that street has, since the construction with the battery plant, the traffic on that road it's multiplied. And we have kids, for the safety, I mean, I understand that we need housing, but why there? Why? I don't know.
So I would touch on the traffic a little bit. We are in the process of building a new road, which has diverted a lot of traffic to this particular spot. Once we build that road, the traffic around the battery plant will be focused more around the battery plant. Right now, places that are building have to use Morgan Street because we haven't finished the road yet.
Right, and to my understanding, there was supposed to also be a road going in the middle of that cornfield also. Am I wrong on that?
The one we're talking about, there's almost zero chance that they could develop an apartment complex without building some kind of road or driveway. Yeah.
Okay, so that road or driveway will go to the townhouses and not the factory?
No. It won't connect directly to the factory. Any other questions from the audience?
You have to come up to the microphone, man, sorry.
But you're talking about that little.
Ma'am, we're gonna need name and address,
I'm
please.
Dolores Abney, and I live at 2116 North 100 East, the road that is dead-ended now, and we have all semis going back and forth.
Thank
You're talking about that little less than a half-mile road called Sparks Road that you're putting in. That's going to supposedly take care of all this traffic that's going on. So are you saying that the apartments and housing that they're talking about is not going to enter off of Sparks Road, but going to enter off of Morgan Street in that narrow little, like, roadway, because the church owns part of it, and there's a narrow area that belongs to the 21 acres, or 22 acres.
The entrances and exits are gonna be coming at a later time when there's a development plan, which will also come through this board for approval. Right now, all we're looking at is zoning.
Changing it,
Is
so-
and not even commercial, just is multifamily
I understand. So
into
this is-
compatible. So I don't know if that's a premature question, but eventually there'll be a development plan that shows
Everything
the
seems
layout.
to be premature here, so, okay.
Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from the board before I call for a vote? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P28Z23, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is approved. It now goes to the city council and will be presented there by Councilman Grieco. Director Shinto.
Next case, Mr. President, is case P 16-823, petition of Paul Penzi requesting development plan approval for McDonald's for property. This is at 515 East Alto Road.
Move for approval.
Second.
Someone here to represent this case, please step forward.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Pensy, 7247 Woodward Avenue, Woodridge, Illinois. I'm from an engineering firm representing McDonald's in this matter. Basically, what we're actually suggesting is McDonald's likes to scrape, basically demolish everything that they currently have, rebuild on site. The building's going to be approximately the same size, approximately the same location. Parking lot is mostly going to stay the same. Two variances have been approved on this, one for parking at the front and a drive-through fronting a side street. These are just existing conditions that were approved, so nothing's really changed in that regard. We did go through the technical review, we responded to that. One update on that response, I found out today we did get CDR approval from the state, so we do have that now. So that is one of the items that was marked on there, so we are still pursuing a DOT from the state. A little bit of a hiccup trying to get the performance bond, but that is in process, and we're moving forward to that right now.
Time frame when this is going to begin?
They're looking at spring of 2024.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience on this case? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote for the development plan approval for case P16A23. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, sir, I'm no Cubs on, I want you to know that. I started with White Sox just for you. Thank you. Congratulations. Director Schmidt.
Before we go to this case, I've got to get something off my chest. The city of Kokomo is growing like it hasn't grown before. And I want everybody to please understand that just because things seem to be moving quickly, nothing has changed as far as the process that we use at the Plan Commission. We have to follow all state statutes, which we do on every single case that we hear. Whether it's the battery plant, whether it's housing, whether it's just a simple rezoning like we heard in the first case. All state statutes have to be followed. People have to be notified. There has to be, everything has to be put in the Kokomo Tribune. There has to be signs put on all the properties. And there are many, just because we read a case tonight and sometimes it is a unanimous vote, does not mean that there's not been several discussions between sometimes board members, our attorney, city engineer's office, fire department. Those discussions are had. We have plat meetings for every development plan approval, which we go through drainage issues and all of that. So I just want everybody to understand that even though the city is growing and growing rapidly, we are still following the statutes that we have to follow to make sure that everything is done to the best of our ability that we can, and that everything is advertised per state statute. So that's off my chest. I will move forward. This case, not Mr. President, case P26Z23, the petition of Roman Catholic Diocese of Lafayette requesting the Kokomo City Planning Commission petition to recommend the Kokomo Common Council for a change in zone classification from R4 to IS institutional. This is property at 1201 North Armstrong Street.
Move for approval.
Second.
Someone? Just on your team, man.
Hello, Adam Blankenberg, 3456 Ginger Court, Kokomo, 01. So essentially, right now it's an empty lot that we are just having rezoned to match the property next door. Eventually, we now own all of the properties from the corner all the way to North Street. Eventually, we would like to turn all of that into a park. So this is just the first step in the process of getting it to match the property next door. And then we'll combine those two into one parcel instead of two.
Any questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Sheehan.
Staff report for case P 26Z23, Adam Blankenberger, on behalf of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Lafayette, is requested changes in zoning classification for the address listed below. The zoning is requested in order to combine this lot with other lots that are owned by the Roman Catholic Diocese of Lafayette that are already zoned IS institutional. According to City of Cocoa zoning ordinance, this zoning district is compatible with all the neighboring properties listed below. And those properties listed below are to the north, IS institutional use and R4 urban residential, to the south, R5 urban residential and IS institutional use, to the east, IS institutional use, and to the west, R5 urban residential and R4 urban residential. City of Cocoa Comprehensive Plan serves as a strategic guide to implement effective decision-making in both private development projects and community expenditures for the overall public good. According to the City of Cocoa Comprehensive Plan, future land use map, this area of Old Armstrong is located in an area proposed for medium density residential, which is shown as the circle dark yellow shaded area below for staff members. Medium density residential is single family housing of various types between 3 to 6 dwelling units per acre. Typical medium density housing would be single family detached, duplexes, condominiums, townhomes, and cluster housing. Land use goals encourage orderly and responsible development for health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the city of Kokomo, while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to ensure adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses, designate specific districts of the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of Old Armstrong is defined as a local street. A local street is designed primarily to provide access to abutting properties and discourage through traffic. Traffic count for this area of Old Armstrong is 5,215. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Cocomo Common Council based on the information presented by the petitioner.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report. Questions from the audience?
Yeah, my name is Charlene Ornsby. I live at 1131 North Armstrong. That is the southeast corner of the property that's going up at I guess it's a community house. Is that what they're putting in there? On the northeast corner of Broadway and the one that the church is putting in.
You would have to ask that to them. All we're looking at tonight is the rezoning for that property. You'd have to
My
ask
question
them
is-
what their plan is.
From what I've been told, it's gonna be a community house, which means there's gonna be increased traffic. Do they have accommodations for parking? Because my neighbor who's had to go to Michigan for his mom's funeral tonight, he literally only has 2 car parking spaces in front of his house. It's directly across from that. If you have a large volume of people come in, he won't be able to get to his house. And I live on the corner, and during the holiday seasons, when the church has the bigger services, people end up parking all the way around both corners, this one, Broadway and Armstrong, where it literally blocks off access to our houses. I don't have too much problem if you make accommodations where you're not blocking off access to the residential properties that have been existing there for decades. And the other issue I've had is that since they put that, what is it, halfway house or some sort of rehab house at North and Webster, the people come down from Webster, up Broadway and down Armstrong, and they'll leave trash, cigarette butts. I'm finding these little 3-inch liquor bottles all around my property, and it's getting trashed by the extra traffic. And you start adding a community house, how much more trash is gonna be added to our neighborhood if you guys don't make accommodations for people to take care of the stuff, and hopefully they do it.
Keep in mind, all we're doing tonight is a rezoning, but if they are building a community house, there will be a site plan for that, and those types of issues would be discussed. And no one can block off entrance to someone else's residential property. That's not legally allowed.
Well, there's only 2 spots there, and if they go up and down the church.
I understand, I'm just saying that those will be discussed during the site plan, whenever, if and when they build that community center, if that's, I don't know if that's what they're doing.
Well, yeah, you can see the slab, they've already got the slab for it.
Okay.
And my question is, are they gonna accommodate the parking, which is gonna impact everybody that lives on that Broadway and Armstrong? And are they gonna deal with all the extra debris and trash that's gonna be brought into the neighborhood, as has already been demonstrated by the one that was put at North in Webster?
Well, obviously, the plan would be to accommodate all the parking. As far as taking care of the trash, this board certainly can't. We couldn't guarantee that that's going to happen. We would hope that the church would be good neighbors and take care of that. But this board certainly can't make that promise.
All right, well, like I'm saying, my neighbor's at the funeral right now in Michigan, and he literally only has 2 park spots in front of his house, and that's it. There is nothing on the alley, nothing around the back. That's just what he's limited to. And if you start bringing in large amounts of traffic in up and down the park on those streets, he's not gonna be able to get into his house, and he's a handicapped individual.
I'm sorry, are you talking about his driveway or city street parking? You're talking about city street parking?
Yes.
Okay.
That's his steps, you know, 2 parking spots there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then there's the.
Yeah, there's no guarantee on that. It's public park.
That's, yeah, is there, he may want to consider putting in a driveway.
There is no place to put it in. There's literally an alley here, and that's my property.
Yeah.
He has no option. That house has no option for parking on the right front of it.
There's not gonna be any house there at all.
Oh, yes, of course.
Can you come to the mic?
Not the new,
What we're doing over there, it's not gonna be any house.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a community center, from what I understand.
No, it's not going to be at all. That whole block is gonna turn into a park.
So what's
So-
this concrete slab for?
That is a spot for us to put up like a temporary tent for people, like if we have like a fall festival or something like that, we can erect a temporary tent and not have mud. So there's not gonna be
So
any,
this is-
there's no housing, no driveway. All of the
There's not gonna
houses
be a-
on that block are actually going to come down. And it's gonna be green space for the park.
But those houses right there, the ones that, the 2.
Correct. Once, right now, we're letting someone live there until, like, we bought the house from her,
Okay.
and we're letting her live there until she passes away.
Right.
And then we're letting her live there while that's going on. And then, once she's gone, we're gonna be able to, like, turn all of that into a park. So there's not gonna be any more residential, and as far as that, the rehab facility, we have nothing to do with that. So,
Yeah, but that was the extra traffic being brought into our.
right,
neighborhood.
and to be honest with you, I don't know if anybody's aware of this, but it's my understanding that the street that runs along the school there to that corner, you know what I'm talking, from North Street in front of the school and behind the church, right?
Are you talking Armstrong?
Armstrong. Yes, Armstrong,
Yeah,
running up to that corner,
That's
right?
my property right there.
Right, so eventually, that will no longer, I think, be a through street. I think we're gonna try to get, like, possession of that street, like we did, the old street is
So
there.
you're gonna block off our access to North Street?
That's a potential, well, no, it wouldn't be blocked off, you can still
Well,
drive
it's
through it.
off Broadway already.
Right, but it would still be passable, but it's not necessarily public use, hopefully it reduces traffic. But like for people to still use it, will be, like it's still gonna be parking.
And there's already issues with fire trucks and stuff, and ambulances getting up and down Armstrong to get to this house where his son has epilepsy issues.
Right, but we're not gonna, we'll be reducing parking probably because that
But you still
parking
have
lot
to
on
get
the
the,
end will be big.
you still have to get the fire trucks down.
Yeah, but that's not part of the petition.
Yeah, that's not part of this.
Right, but if you're
What I'm saying
blocking off
is we're not blocking any of that, like.
But you're talking about blocking off Armstrong, from what I understand.
Not as a part of this petition.
Yeah, and I don't think we have to do, I can talk to you out there, so we're not wasting your
That's
time.
right, but that's my house and that's Armstrong, right there.
Right,
And there's somebody walking in front of my house right now.
well, thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I can answer your questions.
Any other questions from the audience?
Thank you.
Will that have, what kind of a impact will that have on the value of the houses in the area?
Virtually none.
I don't think it would have any impact at all. If anything, it would be
Improve it.
It should be a
Improve it,
positive
yeah.
impact, yes.
With the quote, green space.
Any questions from the audience? Any other questions from the board? All in favor of case P 26Z23, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The motion carries. The rezoning now goes to the city council and represented there by Councilman Greenfield.
This case, Mr. President, is case P29Z23, petition of Carol Ann Rolls requesting Kokomo City Planning Commission petition and recommended to common council for change in zone classification from NC neighborhood commercial to M2 general commercial. This is for property at 422 West Denton Ball and 1422 South Webster Street.
Move for approval?
Second.
So the mayor represent this case, please come forward.
Hello, DJ Butcher, 106 North Washington Street, Kokomo, Indiana. We are wanting to rezone 422 West F Ball, 1422 South Webster to M2. Due to the increased need for housing, we wanted to turn the existing banquet hall into a 5-unit apartment building. So it'd be 4 2-bed, 2-bath units, 1 1-bed, 1-bath unit. And as it is, the parking lot, there's plenty of parking there right now.
Any questions from the board before we have staff report?
You just got to remodel it, you're not going to expand the footprint.
No, that building is going to stay just as it is. Correct.
Your staff report.
Any other questions from the board? Staff report, please.
Case P29Z23, DJ of Fortune Companies, Inc., on behalf of Carol Ann Wills, requested change the zone classification for the parcel shown above. This area will be utilized as multifamily. According to City Kokomo zoning ordinance, it will allow 16 units or less, anything greater or less than 4 units to require a special exception. The adjoining properties are zoned as follows: to the north R4 urban residential, to the south R4 urban residential, and NC neighborhood commercial, and to the east R4 urban residential, as well as the west R4 urban residential. According to City Kokomo zoning ordinance, the M2 zoning district is compatible with all the zones that border this area. According to the City Kokomo comprehensive plan future land use map, this section of West Ethanball and South Webster is located in an area proposed for medium density residential. Medium density residential is an area designated for single family housing of varying types between 3 and 61 units per acre. Typical medium density housing would be single family detached, duplexes, triplexes, condominiums, townhomes, and cluster housing. This area is not located within any overlay district. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development, to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents of the city of Kokomo, while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of West Ethanball Street and South Webster is defined as a minor collector. A minor collector is a street designed to facilitate the collection of traffic from local streets. Also, it provides circulation within neighborhood areas and convenient ways to reach arterial streets. The traffic count for this area of West Ethanball and South Webster is 2,759. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report. Any questions from the audience? Any questions from the board before I call for a vote? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote for case P29Z23. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. It now goes to the city council and presented there by Councilman Riccio. Directors.
Yeah, in this case, Mr. President, excuse me, this case P30Z23, petition of Kokomo Rescue Mission requesting the Kokomo City Planning Commission petition to recommend the Kokomo Common Council for change in zone classification from R5 high-density residential to IS institutional use. This is property 405 West Mulberry Street.
Move for approval.
Second.
Someone here to represent this case, please come forward.
Tori Tripp, Tripp Engineering and Consulting, 401 South Second Street, Converse, representing Kokomo Rescue Mission. I have a paper I want to pass out to you to kind of better explain what we're trying to do. I don't have enough for everyone, so we're just going to kind of have to share.
Thank you.
So if you look at this first page, on the far left is the area that we're asking for it to be rezoned. It's shaded kind of in yellow. It's a little square right here. The Kokomo Rescue Mission already owns the lot to the east, and it's already zoned IS. So this lot is the lot directly to the west. They want to combine both lots together, and then they want to build a storage/garage area. So if you look on the second page of the packet that I handed out, and you look at the far left side, you can kind of see where it says the new storage building. And what they plan to do is use that for overflow for the kitchen, for storage, Christmas decorations, and they're going to have a garage space. And I can answer any questions.
Any questions from the board?
The rescue mission also owns the residence directly to the west of this, right? Or is that coming down? Is that part of this rebuilding?
They own the one to the east, and then this property is just to the west of that. The property that's just to the west of that, I'm not, do you know who they don't own it. I'm not sure who the owner is directly to the west of it.
So there's a vacant lot, and then there's a house or building already on one that you guys own.
Right.
Okay.
Any other questions before we have staff report? Director Seeley.
Staff report for case P30Z23, Tripp Engineering, Consulting LLC on behalf of Kokomo Rescue Mission is requesting changes in zone classification for the parcel shown below. The passes parcel will be the location of the garage style building that will be utilized for storage. According to the city of Kokomo zoning ordinance, the IS zoning district is compatible with the zoning for this area. And those zonings are to the north R4 urban residential, to the south M2 multifamily, to the east IS institutional use, and to the west MI low density multifamily residential. According to City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan, future land use map, the area of West Mulberry Street is located in an area proposed for high density residential. Land use goals high density residential is a single family and multifamily housing of various types over 6 dwelling units per acre. Typical high density housing would be townhomes, cluster houses, apartments and condominiums. And the land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life for residents in the city of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage active land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Allow for a mix of commercial, office, and industrial land uses to provide a diversified tax base. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. Relevant land use objectives are to continue to develop transportation network that serves and complements the land uses and growth management goals of the city. According to the transportation map, the area of West Mulberry Street to Lynette is defined as a local street. A local street is designed primarily to provide access to abutting properties and discourage through traffic. The traffic area for this area of West Mulberry Street is 8,008. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Copeland Common Council.
Any questions from the board? Now we had staff report. Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P30Z23, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. It now goes to the common council and are presented there by Councilman Grigio.
In this case, Mr. President, is case P31Z23, petition Copeland Rescue Mission requesting the Copeland City Plan Commission petition to recommend to the Common Council for change in zone classification from R5 high density residential to IS institutional. This is 215 North Washington Street.
Move for approval.
Second. Someone here to represent this case, please step forward.
Tori Tripp, Tripp Engineering and Consulting, 401 South Second Street, Converse. The packet that I passed out earlier, if you look to the right, there's a yellow area that's highlighted, and that's the area here in question. And what they're trying to do is they want to tear down the building that's there. And then if you turn to the second page, you'll see what they are wanting to expand the existing building. They want to add additional kitchen space, extra dining room space, a separate dining room for families, some office space, and then the second floor would have additional beds and then additional storage area. Then I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the board before I have staff report?
Is that
Director.
building you're discussing the store, current store?
Is the building that you wanted, I think, it's used for storage, isn't it? Hence the other previous case where they're building a new storage building.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Director Schilling, staff report.
Staff report for case P31Z23, Tripp Engineering Consulting LLC on behalf of Copeland Rescue Mission requesting change in zone classification for the parcel shown below. Purpose of the zoning request is for addition to an existing structure. According to the City of Copeland zoning ordinance, the IS zoning district is compatible with the zoning that's for this area. And again, those zoning bars to the north IS institutional, to the south C1 medium to a small scale general commercial, and DC downtown commercial, and to the east and west are both institutional uses. According to the City of Copeland Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, this area of North Washington Street is located in an area proposed for high-density residential. High-density residential is single-family and multifamily housing of various types over 6 dwelling units per acre. Typical high-density housing would be townhomes, cluster housing, apartments, and condominiums. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the city of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Allow for a mix of commercial, office, and industrial land uses to provide a diversified tax base. The goal of the City of Copeland Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, functions, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. Relevant land use objectives are to continue to develop a transportation network that serves and complements the land uses and growth management goals of the city. According to the transportation map, this area of North Washington Street is defined as a minor arterial. A minor arterial is a street that collects and distributes traffic to and from collector and primary arterial streets. The traffic count for this area of North Washington is 8,008. Staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Copeland Common Council.
Any questions from the board now that we've had staff report? Any questions from the audience on this case? If none, I'll call for a vote for case P31Z23. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. It now goes to the common council and will be presented there by Councilman Green. Director.
Okay, this case, Mr. President, is case P32Z23, petition of Mike Lewis requesting Kokomo City Planning Commission petition recommending Kokomo Common Council for a change in zone classification from C1 medium to small scale general commercial to M1 low density multifamily residential for property located at 708 North Main Street.
Move for approval.
Someone to represent this case, please come forward.
Hello, I'm Mike Lewis, 11035 Coleman's Way, Fishers, Indiana. The purpose for the rezoning of it, obviously, is to make improvements to the area and limit the amount of emptiness. We feel like we've met the requirements for rezoning and the ordinance requirements. We're utilizing it a lot for its maximum potential. We're putting a 4-unit apartment for off-street parking.
Is it for off-street parking, I'm sorry?
Yeah, for off-street. Four. That would maximize potential.
Any other questions for you on staff report? Director Sean.
Staff report for case P32, P32Z23. Mike Lewis is requesting change in zone classification for parcel shown to the left. This area will be utilized for townhomes, multifamily, according to the City of Kokomo. Ordinance M1 allows 4 units or less, and greater up to 8 units would require a special exception. The adjoining properties are as follows. To the north, C1 small to medium scale general commercial, and M1 low density multifamily residential, and C2 medium to large scale general commercial. To the south, R5 urban residential, and also NC neighborhood commercial, C1 small to medium scale general commercial, and IS institutional use, and LI low intensity industrial business park. To the east, C1 small to medium scale general commercial, and LI low intensity industrial business park. To the west, C2 medium to large scale general commercial. According to the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance, the M1 zoning district is compatible with all the zones that border this area. According to the City of Kokomo comprehensive plan, future land use map, this area of North Main Street is located in an area proposed for high density residential. High density residential is an area designated for single family, multifamily housing of various types, over 6 dwelling units per acre. Typical height and density housing would be townhomes, cluster housing, apartments, condominiums. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development, to promote health, safety, and quality of life of the residents of the City of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to include adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian network. According to the transportation map, this area of North Main Street is defined as a local street. A local street is designed to primarily provide access to abutting properties and discourage through traffic. The traffic count for this area of North Main is 810. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report. Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote for rezoning on case P32Z23. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. It now goes to the Common Council and will be presented there by Councilman Greview.
This case tonight, Mr. President, is case P17A23, petition of Mike Lewis requesting development plan approval for the Aviv, is that how you pronounce that? Or is it just AVIV?
AVIV.
Okay, AVIV, wasn't sure. Townhomes at 708 North Main Street.
Move for approval.
Second. Introduce yourself again.
Oh, sorry.
Give me a
Mike Lewis, 11035 Coleman's Way, Fishers, Indiana. Yeah, this is the basically the same thing, we're putting the townhomes there, 4 units, and,
John, we had a lot of things to do with plat, how we doing?
Everything was shown on there. The only outstanding issue we have is they're requesting a variance of 50%. And that won't be heard until December 5th. So anything we do here would have to be subject to that BZA hearing.
I'll amend my motion to make it subject to variance approval in December meeting.
I got a question for you before I have a second. She makes a motion now, and there's a contingent too, and the BCA says no, and they vote for it, the petitioners.
It's not rezoned.
It's not rezoned.
Correct.
So, if we just make the motion now, without changing it, then the BZA is not put in the position, and if he gets his parking, fine. If he doesn't, then he knows he gets it without the parking. Am I correct or incorrect? Or do you want?
My understanding would be if we approve it contingent to tonight, and the BZA, it fails at the BZA, then the rezoning is null and void.
But the rezoning is not what we're discussing right now, it's the development plan.
But if you put a contingency on it, it's going to be.
So you think maybe we should not, right?
In my opinion, I don't think this board should put a contingency on BZA. That's just my, that's.
And then they put a contingency on them, they would still have to approve the variance.
Well, you're putting everybody on BZA, if they've got a really hardship and a really concrete case about parking, it's not fair to the petitioner if he goes forward and the BZA says, I don't like parking, I'm not gonna vote for it, he's gotta start at ground zero.
Well, for the development plan?
Yeah.
If
you put a contingency on it,
Because it's not any parking requirements.
if they amend it, if we amend the motion, that's all I'm saying, if you wanna amend it, that's fine, I don't think we should do that to the BZA.
I just want to be clear that what we're talking about is amending the motion for the development plan, not for the change of zoning.
Correct.
Right. Sorry.
The zoning we've already approved. to-
Correct, it has nothing to do with it. I'm talking- Right.
Okay,
But
but
does the-
if he doesn't get his approval, he's gonna have to redesign the thing anyway. Yes?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, he's gonna have to, but he don't have to come back in front of this board to get it.
Well, if it's a different development plan than what he's presenting here today, if it's a different plan and with different number of units, different layout, I would think he would.
Yes, that's correct.
But I most definitely don't think you should put a contingency on it, put the BZA in that situation. You're the council, I'm just telling you what I've done for those board members, so.
By putting a contingency on it, as far as I'm concerned, what it does is it keeps him from having to come back to this board.
And they're just saying that's not true.
Well,
No.
the only way you have to come back is if he.
No, our options tonight are approve it contingent upon the BZA approval, or continue it until after the BZA approval. So he has to come back to this board. after
If
the
BZA would deny the variance, he would have an approved development plan that's not compatible because he doesn't have the variance, therefore he still have to come back to this board. So it doesn't matter.
Okay, as long as
It doesn't matter whether we amend it or not. If it's contingent, then the BZA gets denied, the development approval is denied, he has to come back
He
here.
has to come back and
If it's
decide.
approved with the parking variance, if BZA denies the variance, he still has to come back here for another development plan approval.
I wouldn't change the building, or obviously, the variance that we're going for is obviously parking, and so we could potentially increase the parking if we needed to. So is there a way to get around, obviously, the building's gonna stay the same, it would just be parking.
Do you see a way to add additional parking?
There's a potential in the back,
Yep. There's a potential to add 4 parking.
Would that make it compliant at that point?
No. They would still need parking variance,
So there's
but
parking variance.
it wouldn't be as big. So.
50% gonna be.
Right.
Yeah.
4 units, 2 per unit, that's 8. If they got 4, if they added 4, that would make them
Oh, they're gonna add four now.
If they're gonna add four.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it would take away from the green space that they're showing.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there would be no yard, it would all be parking.
Would that still make it compliant for the development grant approval without the green space?
Possible, they gotta have, yeah, they have to move some trees around, but they could probably make it work.
You kind of see where
Is
we're
that
going
gonna
with
get them into,
Yeah.
would that make them sideways on lot coverage?
Yeah.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think that's one of the variances you're already going for, is lot coverage, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure on this one, I think we're,
Maybe
in this
not.
particular one, I think we're in Val.
Okay.
So, am are we going with the, does it matter, what do you
Well,
want?
I just asked him if he wanted to continue the case, being that it's all this what ifs.
No,
That's okay, continue, right?
Yeah, we got, that got continued.
we're looking at 708 North Main Street right now. We're looking at 708 North Main Street, this is the one we're at right
Let's
now.
say move forward with, Howard. See what the BZA says, with the, as far as the parking goes.
Okay.
So he's asking.
For development plan approval today, yes.
Any questions from the audience on this case?
With-
Second.
We have a,
What do we have, do we have an amended motion or not?
we have an amended motion.
Okay. So we have an amended motion that says that this plan, we would be approving this contingent upon BZA approval.
Correct.
Are we all in agreement? Now we have to vote on the motion
Right.
to make it contingent, it
Correct.
sounds like.
Yes, I know, I mean.
So there's a motion to amend the previous motion to make it contingent upon approval of the development plan. That's what's in front. So do you want to make it contingent? If yes, vote yes, and if not, vote no. And then we'll have an actual vote depending on
On
the
the
outcome.
development plan.
Yes.
Before the vote, can I just kind of
Sure.
interject one more thing? Because if that contingency goes forward and he gets the variance for the parking, then this is good. But if he doesn't get the variance for the parking and decides to move forward with the other parking so that the development plan is still good, then it creates an issue for the green space, which you said he already has to have a variance for, so.
I don't know that for sure, I said, I thought he did that.
It could possibly throw him into another.
Yeah, and so is it really even, this is a domino effect if, so, I don't know, what do you suggest, DJ?
Well, I mean, I don't want to vote on what ifs.
I know.
I mean, you know, I would prefer just to vote on what's in front of us, and if something comes up, obviously, we would have to have another case.
You
I mean,
would get the-
hopefully that's not the case, but if that's what needs to happen, that's, I'm not sure I like voting on what ifs, but I'm not the attorney, so, I think we'll just vote on what we have in front of us.
Which is the motion to approve the development plan without a contingency.
Yes, that's my fault.
Correct.
Yes.
So you withdraw your
Exactly.
motion to amend?
Yes, I do.
Alright.
Perfect.
And you don't have to withdraw your second.
Who seconded?
Who's
Then
second?
we didn't vote on it, she withdrew it, so the
Yeah.
only thing on the table is approval of the development plan without a contingency.
708 North Main.
I think yes.
Yes, yes. Sir, I gotta have you come up here. I need your name and address to know what
Mark
it is.
McCray, 9520 East State Road 26, Rushville.
Thank you, sir.
I got very confused.
I understand.
You approved the variance, or the rezoning, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And now he submitted a building plan,
Yes.
and you're voting on that now?
That's what we
Yes.
have, correct.
That's all I wanted to know.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience?
So,
Any questions from the board? We are going with the original motion to approve.
Correct. No.
It's been rescinded.
It was withdrawn.
I have rescinded my second to this one.
All right, anybody else from the audience on this one?
Now that everyone's totally confused.
Before we vote, if we vote on the, as it stands right now, chances are it doesn't get approved. Because you don't meet the ordinance as it's presented.
Correct. That's.
What are the complications with that?
Well, he would meet the ordinance to get his variances.
And if he doesn't, you'd have to submit a new development plan. But there's no denial, so it's not, there's not like he would be held back for 6 months.
Yeah, there's no time penalty.
Correct.
Okay.
Are we all good now? Or not?
Probably not,
Probably not.
Why not?
I don't mean to make it, I don't know how this board can vote to approve this plan as presented without a contingency.
That's what I.
It's saying without the contingency or waiting until after the case is heard by the BZA, we're voting to approve something we know isn't compliant. The only way that the only way we make it compliant is through the contingency.
I agree with you.
I agree, yay.
Fair to the BZA, but I'm going with it.
So I think our choices are to make a motion contingent upon BZA approval, or recommend contingency right here and right now, until after the BZA.
But we do this and put in contingencies for BZA approval
Not
all
very-
the time.
No, we do not.
We do
No,
it
we
with
do
some
not.
frequency.
No, we do not.
We
I ain't sure we have done it.
We do not do it frequently.
We do not do it frequently.
We have done it.
We have done it.
In the past. The question, I think you're going for is whether or not we should.
I don't think it's fair to the BZA members when you put a contingency on it. I think put that pressure on them. If they've got an opinion on that, to me, you're putting more weight on it. That's just me.
Well, unfortunately, guys, just so everybody understands, as fast as everything's moving, sometimes we don't have the luxury of running these things the way they should. So sometimes we do have to put contingencies on it, whether we like it or not. I mean, that's just,
Well, and we're still going through all the process.
we're still going
just
through the
not
process.
making the calendar create additional
And
time
I-
for the development.
And I agree with what Mike's saying. When you put contingencies on, then it does put added pressure on the next board that hears it, and I understand that. But that doesn't mean they still can't vote no if they want to. There's nothing that says they can't vote no.
Absolutely.
So that option is still available. So,
I don't guess I think it changes the facts that that board is weighing when it makes its decision.
Well, if they vote no, then it creates a green space issue, which needs to come back here again anyways for.
Maybe not. If they vote, if the BZA votes no, it's gotta come back here regardless.
correct.
Right, because a different part of the ordinance is,
Correct.
the development plan is incompatible.
That's correct. If the BZA votes no, that's correct.
All we're doing here, and this is just my opinion, is saying that we're okay with it as long as the BZA is. And I understand, Mike, that does put pressure on the BZA.
I do too. I understand it.
I understand.
Where are we?
It's a question of expediency.
We approve things with the caveat that it has to meet state highway regulations.
Correct.
There's all kinds of contingencies that we.
I agree, but it should be the exception, not the norm. That's the only point I'm trying to make. So whichever way you want to go, we go. I wanted a question. I was more thinking about the petitioner than I was. I thought it put a burden on the BZA members, and if it backs the petitioner up because of the way it was with the contingency, then I was against it. If it doesn't make a bit of difference, then it doesn't make a bit of difference, so.
I think it's the most expeditious way for the petitioner, if I understand it correctly.
Agreed. I think from a timing standpoint, what it.
Is it with or without the contingency?
Right. If we do it with the contingency, it means that he doesn't have, basically, once the BZA meets on December 5th, he ostensibly has approval, right?
Correct.
Otherwise,
And doesn't have to wait for the next plan commission meeting to get that approval, which is what our next option is to just say, we're gonna continue it until the BZA hears it. Right? So it's keeping them from having to wait until December.
Which is 1 week.
Yeah, wait, okay, I didn't know what, I don't know what.
Right? BZA is
One
prior.
way before.
Yeah, we did BZA last week.
Okay, now, don't throw us up on our stand. If we put a contingency on it, just answer this question.
Yeah.
If we put a contingency, he's asking for 4. He comes back and let's just say, through discussion in that meeting, they say, we're not really happy with 4, could you get 2 more? And he says, yes, that variance is not variance for 4, it's only gonna be a variance for 2, but does it do anything? Because I'm hearing somebody say, the way it's written right now is for 4.
How about we do this, how about I make a motion to continue it? I don't think 1 week's gonna put the petitioner on that big of a time.
We push it 1 week, no more notice.
That's fine.
Are you okay with that?
Yes.
All right, let's do that.
Second.
You okay with that?
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, let's vote on that.
And
Yeah. All in favor of the contingency, please, continuance, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Case is continued, thank you.
Sorry about confusion.
Ma'am, we're not getting here for the bail cases tonight. Are you here for the bail cases? You said that earlier, they're not gonna be here
They
tonight.
were already
You said that at the
continued at the
beginning.
beginning of the meeting. Doing the rezonings, I suppose.
Wait,
It'll be zoning.
Just a development plan.
I misspoke, I'm so sorry, I just wanted to add.
Both of them developed, they got continued plans, both of the development plans did.
What about?
You're right,
They both got continued plans.
but on 220, they're gonna be here. Yes, we're gonna hear
Hold
that.
on.
We're gonna hear 13.
You hear all of the rezonings,
All of the rezonings.
just 2 development plans for Bell Street won't be here.
Understand. Okay, so next case is case P 33Z23. Is that where we're at?
I think so.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Can we get a consensus?
I need a motion, a second, please.
Second.
Someone here to represent this case, please
I
step
gotta
forward.
read it into the record, sorry. I haven't read it into the record yet. Case P 33Z23, petition of Michael Lewis, requesting Copeland City Plan Commission petition recommended to Copeland Council for change in zone classification from R4 medium urban residential to M1 low density multifamily. This is at 2324 North Diamond Street.
Second.
Someone here to represent this case, please come forward.
Mike Lewis, 11035 Coleman's Way, Fishers, Indiana. Same as the last, purpose for rezoning is making improvements in the area, limited amount of emptiness, requirements for rezoning. We feel that we meet the requirements for rezoning, utilizing the lot for its maximum potential.
Any questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Sheehan.
Staff report for case P 33Z23. Mike Lewis has requested changes in zone classification to the parcel shown to the left. This area will be utilized for 4 townhomes multifamily according to the City of Kokomo ordinance. M1 allows 4 units or less, anything greater up to 8 units would require a special exception. The adjoining property zonings are to the north R4 urban, actually they're all R4 urban residential, north, south, east, and west. According to the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance, the M1 zoning district is compatible with the zonings that border this area. According to the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, this section of North Diamond Street is located in an area proposed for low-density residential. Low-density residential is single-family housing below a density of 3 units per acre. Typical low-density housing would be single-family detached homes. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development, promote health, safety, and quality of life for residents in the City of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city to improve safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of North Diamond Street is defined as a local street. A local street is designed to primarily to provide access to abutting properties and discourage through traffic. Traffic count for this area of North Diamond is 5,907, and this is the nearest point located on Morgan Street. Staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Copeland Common Council.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report.
Real quick, are these lots .175 each or total for both? From the original description of the case, do you know? The size of the lot?
0.18, I think that's combined.
Yeah, I think it's combined.
Combined,
Yeah.
okay.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, any questions from the board before I call for a vote on this rezoning? All in favor of case P 33Z23, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is approved and now goes to the Common Council and presented there by Councilman Grieco.
The next case is case P 18-823, petition of Mike Lewis requesting development plan approval for the AVIV townhomes. This is at 2324 North Diamond Street.
Move for approval?
Mike Lewis, 11035 Coleman's Way. Same as last, we believe, the unit.
Go ahead.
uh,
Are we gonna have the same issue with?
Same issue.
You betcha, yeah.
I would continue.
Okay. Second.
Mr. Lewis, are you okay?
Are you good at that?
Just, yes. Alright.
All,
We're voting to continue 2324 North Diamond.
Correct.
all in favor, please signify.
John?
John?
There we are. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, this case is case P 34Z23, petition of Mike Lewis requesting the Copeland City Plan Commission petition to recommend the Copeland Common Council for a change in zone classification from R4 urban residential to M3 large scale multifamily residential. This is at 220 Eastville Avenue.
Move for approval?
Second.
Mike Lewis, 11035 Coolins Way, Fishers, Indiana. Same thing here, this is a larger, this backs up to the ballpark, and there's, obviously what we're trying to do is put more housing in the area. And these are, the city lots, and so the city's, working with us, and we're trying to just expand housing in the area.
Any questions from the board before we have staff report?
And how many multi-units was you wanting to put there?
This is 52 units.
Is it brick and mortar?
It is a combination of material types on the outside.
How many units did you say?
52. 52.
Wait, hold on, folks.
That's both added, right?
Oh,
You're
both,
combining,
sorry,
yeah,
yes,
We're just talking about one.
We're just talking about the one address.
That's the 52 would be
Yes.
the two parcels.
Combination.
Yeah, she certainly is, yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. It's been a long night.
Well, ain't everybody will have a chance, but let's just get through staff report first.
I'm trying to get there.
Alright.
Any other questions from the board before we call for staff report? Director Sheila, staff report, please.
Staff report for case P 34Z23. Mike Lewis is requesting a change in zone classification for parcels shown above. This area will be utilized for 2 12-unit townhome buildings. According to the City of Copeland zoning ordinance, M3 allows for 6 units or greater up to 50 units. Anything less than 6 or greater than 50 would require a special exception. According to the City of Copeland zoning ordinance, the M3 zoning district is compatible with the zonings that border this area. The zonings are to the north, PR, Park and Recreation, and R4 urban residential, to the south, R4, to the east, PR, Park and Recreation, and R4, and to the west, C1, small scale general commercial, and R5 urban residential. According to the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, this area, the section of Eastville Avenue is located in an area proposed for parks and recreation, which, parks and recreation are public and private parks used for passive and active recreation, also low-impact commercial recreation facilities. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the city of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses, designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for the improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to Transportation Map, this area of Eastville Avenue is defined as a local street. The local street is designed to primarily provide access to abutting properties and discourage through traffic. The traffic count for this area of Eastville is 725 cars. Staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report. Any questions from the audience? Please come forward, Mayor.
We need name and address, please.
My name is Tricia Legacy. I'm from across the street from the said buildings that he wants to put in, actually skyscraper, because it's, 50 units that you want to put in across the street from my house?
24.
311 Eastvale, 26. Yeah, there's when they have ball games and stuff, I can't even park in front of my house anymore because of all the traffic from the ball field and everything, and I have a beautiful view of the ball field, and now he wants to put up 54 buildings,
No, not 54 buildings.
54 units, no, it's crazy. I mean, when we had that big flood, and, we lost all those homes, all of a sudden, boom, the crime just went way down. I mean, I went and brought, as I was moving, people were stealing stuff off my lawn as I was moving it in, that has all changed. We already have one big skyscraper building across on Apperson, across where Apperson is. Please don't allow another one. You'll ruin the whole neighborhood, and everything that we've gotten that's to the better will all be taken away and there's no parking, there's no nothing. Please don't allow this 50-unit building to be developed in that area. Yeah, maybe a duplex, something like that, fine. But nothing like that. You're just going to ruin everything we just all gained. Please accept that. Thank you.
Paul Ward, 824 West Sycamore Street, Kokomo. I have a lot of questions. You're just changing zoning. So that's what I want to know. How many maximum units can be built on this lot? You changed it to M3, I think you said?
You could go up to 50 units.
How many?
You can go up to 50 units.
Up to 50 units on that lot. And you got one going on the other side of that road too. All right. Is the sewage capable of handling another 100 units on that street? The sewage?
That's something that would be discussed.
Well, I thought you said, the Kokomo said it was okay, it fits, and it makes your master plan. I don't think that it does.
That's not what I said.
Okay, then I misunderstood.
What I'm saying is,
All right.
all we're looking at tonight is the rezoning. All that, anything that the city engineer's office, when it comes to,
No, I can dispel that. I don't anticipate any sewage problems there.
Okay, I was just wondering, because there hasn't been any for quite a while. But the parking is a real issue. I own a house on that street, and I can't park in front of that unit when I go over to work on it or do something, because it's always tied up for the ball diamond. I like the ball diamond, but you need to have parking for them so that we can keep ours for our homes.
and again, all we're looking at tonight is the zoning.
I know you are, but if you change the zoning now, say you pass it, then that gives 50 more units up to, now I think he said 23, is what, 24? So he's not going to go to 50. he's gonna go to 24. So instead of being 100, it's gonna be 48. How many cars is required under M3 for parking for those
So it's
24?
units.
How many?
2 per unit.
So there's supposed to be 48 parking spots.
They are going to ask for a parking variance.
That's what I would have figured, because they don't have room.
But that does not come before board, this board.
I understand, but I want to get it all out.
That's why I'm trying to explain it to you.
Okay, good, I appreciate it.
That will go before the board, the zoning appeals, that parking variance. And they may or may not vote for that, but this board won't look at that yet. But what this board will look at in the future is if this zoning is passed, and keep in mind, even if it's passed tonight, this board is only a recommendation to the Coastal Common Council.
Okay.
The Common Council has to vote on it in 2 readings. So there will be 2 other meetings, for the Common Council to vote. If the Common Council votes for the zoning, then it is rezoned to that, and then, the variances will be heard, and they may or not be approved. If the variances are approved, then they have to come back for a site plan approval, back to this board, which is where we'll look at drainage and all that, and the
Parking.
and on the parking, this board will look at all that again.
Okay, well, my concern was, if you make it M3, now we're stuck with that part of it, and now it's a question of how many variances can these people get? That's my concern.
Well, the zoning lends itself, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's a tremendous amount of flexibility in the zone, from 6 units up to 50, right? So they've got that wiggle room to play around, do some space planning,
Well,
figure out
sure.
what they can do.
That gives them more parking, because they got less units. Yeah, I understand that.
Right. So what this does is basically say that, given those facts, they can work around that, and they can fit in there, and if they got more than 6 units, they fit into this zone.
Well, again, my concern was, once you change this, well, now they can go to other items. But anyway, so the parking was a concern, but you're only going for zoning. And I would think it should be the reverse. You should know what you're doing, not you personally, know what you're voting on, so that you know what you're actually approving it for.
Well, you can't get variances on something that hasn't been rezoned yet. because
That's true.
It's technically not been rezoned to that, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
so
kind of a, yeah,
it's kind of a mess, but okay. So that's,
That's land use.
all right, so did I understand that this council or meet group, you approve it if you do, then it has to go to the common council and they have to approve it.
That's correct.
That's where the war starts, if that's what you want to do. Okay, I understand.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the rezoning vote for case P34Z3, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Roll call, please.
Hang on a second, let me find it.
Okay.
Roll call. Ms. Barker?
Yay.
Yay?
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
Ms. Durham?
Aye.
Ms. Silver?
Nay.
Mr. Graves is not here. Ms. Jefferson?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Rule?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Greenhill?
Aye.
Mr. Pike?
Aye.
Passes 6-1. The rezoning does.
Motion carries and now goes to the common council, presented there by Councilman Greenfield.
We're a recommendation board, so all we can do is recommend it to the common council. So we'll go to the next common council meeting, be presented there, where they vote, and their vote is the approval. So we recommend the,
No, we haven't changed anything yet.
the common council.
Common council has the final vote for that.
City councilman or woman. First Monday?
When you meet again, Matt?
It's
forgot to look. We've got one more meeting this month. 27th. Yeah, so 27th, back in this room at 6 o'clock. Monday the 27th. No, it's a Monday night. Yes.
That board.
Yeah.
That board makes.
And so it'll have to go through 2 council meetings, 2 readings. If it's approved on the 27th, then it has to be heard again. So the council will hear the case twice.
So let me clarify a little bit here. It's not going to be it's not going to be a 50-unit building. There's going to be multiple smaller buildings. It's going to be, what he's proposing for just this one location that we heard was only 24 units. On this one location, this next case, we have the difference. They, this is 3 lots, over 3 lots, not 1 lot.
Yeah, but
So,
they're all connected.
I'm sorry, that's what it, but that used to be homes and multi-unit apartments anyways in those locations prior to the flood. These will be nicer than what they look like, I'm sure. Yeah, you give it a chance, I'm sure it'll be nicer than what they look like at that point in time.
No, there's not anything nicer than looking at all.
All right, put it on that.
Ready for the next case?
Okay, this case is case P19A23. We continued that, if you remember correctly, at the beginning of the meeting. We continued that until the next meeting. So the next case we're going to hear will be case P35Z23, petition of Mike Lewis requesting the Copeland City Planning Commission. Petition recommending common council for changing zone classification from R4 urban residential to M3. This is property at 324 East Bell Avenue.
Move for approval.
Second.
Like, 035 Coleman Road, Christian, Indiana. This is the second portion of that project, so it's, yeah.
Anybody have any questions before we go to staff report on the board? Director Sheila, staff report, please.
Staff report for case P35Z23. Mike Lewis requested a change in zone classification to the parcel shown above. The circle parcel will be combined with one large lot in order to utilize the site for future townhomes. The lots with the X's are lots of record, therefore they will not have to be subdivided. According to the City of Copeland zoning ordinance, M3 allows for 6 units or greater, up to 50 units. Anything less than 6 or greater than 50 would require a special exception. According to the City of Copeland zoning ordinance, the M3 zoning district is compatible with the zonings that border this area. Adjoining properties zoned are to follow, to the north, Park and Recreation, to the south, east, and west, all R4 urban residential. According to the City of Kokomo comprehensive future land use map, this section of Eastville Avenue is located in an area proposed for Parks and Recreation, which is the green area circled below. Parks and Recreation are public and private parks used for passive and active recreation, also low-impact commercial recreation facilities. Under land use goal to encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the City of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of Eastville Avenue is defined as a local street. The local street is designed primarily to provide access to abutting properties and discourage through traffic. Traffic count for this area of Eastville Avenue is 745. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council.
Any questions from the board now that we've had the staff report? Any questions from the audience? Please come forward.
Good evening, Dave Pelican, Crab Press, 524 South Union Street. I'm an adjacent property owner, just for the previous case. I'm just to the west of the previous case you just heard. Just getting a legal description here on this document I received. It names Lot 10 by name in the description, and I am Lot 10, so I'm not sure if there's a mapping error or what on this, but it actually says Lot 10 on my.
Where you're at on this.
So, I'm at the other side. Actually, one reason here is because that the surveyors figure out before the sign plan, they can actually mark my lot, so that's been what's going on. He said it was, but this, I'm actually named Lot 10. That is a charge to it's on there, it says Lot 10. This is further down on the bill.
You're on Union?
Yes, Union will be on Parker Street, Lot 10. The corner of Unionville. It's the parcel number.
So you were, I think, part of a flat, but it is part flat.
Yeah, I think it was going around this.
Lot 10.
It's not listed as a plot number, it says I'm Lot 10, so that's what it's verification on. If the whole plot is the whole plot block, it's kind of what's originally laid out. I just don't want to rezone it back.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be.
What, 24 units over there?
Let's go to work some morning and
I think, and I don't have the plat for me, right? Read that.
Did you check that?
John would be the only one that has a chance to look at that.
Carrie gave that legal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to check into that.
Different
for-
subdivision.
Make sure that that's not.
I think it's different.
Yeah, I think guys that were surveying were reviewed, they were part of our
Okay.
lot.
Yeah.
My brother was there, he said, well,
It's a different subdivision. The subdivision.
Yeah.
You're in Carter Stewart, Lot 10, and
Those-
this is Lot 10 in. Past.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, those.
Part of Lot 10 in the section. So in the original survey that they did, in some towns and municipalities, they reported off lots, which were big pieces of ground. And then they've been subsequently subdivided into smaller pieces. So part of Lot 10 in the section, in the southeast quarter of the section, that does incorporate yours, but it doesn't include this. You're not included. So.
This is Carter, his is Carter and Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And that's,
Yeah.
that's another named subdivision. So there's two subdivisions.
part of Lot 10.
And they kind of done-
Part of Lot 10 in the southeast quarter of the section, which was done by the original surveyors in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Incorporates large, but yours was subsequently subdivided and it happens to be Lot 10, which, so.
You are not included.
You are not going to do that. Sorry you had to wait for all that. But, no, we appreciate it.
I have no idea where I'm at.
We just read.
Audience comments.
Yeah. P35.
Paul Ward,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
824 West Sycamore Street, Kokomo. I just want to, again, you tentatively, you're not bound by it, but you're talking about 24 units on that lot as well? Or are you talking more? A few more, okay. Is parking a problem with that one? Do we have to get a variance on that? Okay. All right, I just wanted to confirm that, but I thought.
so, and that's I think a point is, although the zoning allows for up to 50 units, the development plan and any necessary variances are going to dictate what's actually possible.
Correct, correct.
So just because it falls into zoning where the zoning allows up to 50 doesn't mean that there can be that many units.
It allows as few as 6.
Right, in this case, whether 24 is a possibility is yet to be determined, because there's still many hurdles that have to be crossed for that to become a reality.
Correct.
Can I just ask also, the one we're hearing now is what used to be the flood zone plan, correct? And so in the site planning, all that later would be addressed.
We've already looked at that, to be honest with you, but we'll look at it again. It's in the fringe. It's not in the floodway, it's actually in the floodway fringe. So we just have to make sure that the elevations are 2 foot above the base flood. And we will definitely do that next time. And then they will get elevations certificates for those properties.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? If not, I'll call for a vote for rezoning of case P35Z23. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay. Nay.
Director.
Ms. Barker,
Yes.
Ms. Durham,
Nay.
Ms. Stover,
Nay.
Mr. Graves is not here, Ms. Jefferson,
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Rule,
Aye.
Mr. Grayhew, Mr. Pike,
Aye.
passes 5-2.
Motion carries and now goes to the common council and are presented there by Councilman Grayhew.
Okay, the last case is, well, actually, it's gonna continue, this case B 2823, it's 324 Eastville Avenue. That's the development plan, which will be continued until the next meeting.
Anything on other business?
I have no other business tonight.
Next on the agenda is approval of claims.
Oh, move to approve claims in the amount of $28,687.77.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of claims. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approve the claim. Approve the claim. Yeah.
Everything goes good.
For the whole night.
Motion to adjourn, do I hear? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.